Hello, my name is Adriana Nicolás Sánchez, and this video is for the final exam of the course Resources in ICT in Education. For the first part of the exam, we have to decide a teaching project. The one I have developed is designed for the subject of history for the third cycle of primary education. In the development of the project, I have taken into account the Spanish Royal Decree of November 2022, and these are the curriculum goals that would be obtained by carrying out the program activities. First, we have developing work habits, both individually and in groups, including responsibility, critical thinking, creativity, initiative, and a spirit of inquiry and entrepreneurship. Using various artistic forms of expression, including visual and audiovisual media. Understanding the fundamentals of natural and social sciences, including geography, history, and culture. And gaining basic technological competence and developing a critical approach to technology and media. Here is some information about the student profile to give you some context. They are imaginative, curious, and they are starting to engage with media. Also, they are comfortable using tablets and digital under guidance. They are able to work in small collaborative teams, and also they are able to express ideas both visually and orally. And also, they have begun to understand social values, local identity, and personal expression. For designing these activities, we had to ask the AI. The artificial intelligence would give us some ideas for creating these tasks. I have chosen to use ChatGPT because I use it normally and it is reliable. I asked ChatGPT to create 3 activities about history, giving the AI all the information about the activities, the goals of the curriculum, and the student profile. I think ChatGPT provided me with some great activities for the students, but I decided to change the tools it offered me. Not only because I had never used them before and did not know exactly how to use them, but also because at the same time that I saw how they worked, I found the others easier. As I said, the project that ChatGPT offered me was very good, but I adapted it to what I know and the tools that I find easier to use. For the project, I have created 3 activities which will be developed in 3 different sessions of 1 hour each. To carry out these activities, the students would need a technological device which would be a tablet for each group. These groups will be composed of 5 students. In the first session, the students will be working with the comic, using storyboard. The goal of the activity is to create a comic telling a story about a day in the life of a child of the same age as the students in prehistoric times. The steps that will be followed in the session would be a brief introduction of prehistory, then by groups they will have to create the story. After creating the story, they will have to make the comic, and finally, when they have finished, they should present their comic to another group and do a short reflection about what they did. This is storyboard. Here you can use different types of scenarios, characters, dialogues. And this is an example of how they should do it. We were asked to explain the added value of the tools that we have used, so I used the PICRA framework to do it. Storyboard fosters creativity by allowing students to construct original narratives and visuals. It represents a transformational use of technology by enabling storytelling methods that wouldn't be possible without digital tools. This adds value by enhancing a students' digital storytelling skills, visual literacy, and understanding of historical concepts. I created a rubric based on how I would grade the assignment using ChatGPT. This would be utilizing the rubric for e-learning tool evaluation, we assess each tool compliance with privacy and data protection standards. Storyboard complies with it. The platform offers student accounts with privacy controls to protect user information. Users retain ownership of their creations. Also, Storyboard aligns with COPPA and FERPA regulations. It is recommended that students' accounts be managed under education supervision to ensure continued compliance with privacy requirements. And finally, to articulate the learning design, I use the ICT framework for each activity. So this is the one for the comic task. In the second session, the students will be working with the augmented reality using the Merge Explorer app. The goal of the activity is to use augmented reality to explore 3D models of Egyptian structures, scenes. The steps that would be followed in the session would be: firstly, the teacher must introduce ancient Egypt and also how the app works. Then, they have to choose in groups some element to explore. After that, they have to interact with the app to see the object that they have chosen. And finally, they have to try the other group's apps and reflect about what they have seen. This is the Merge Explorer app. Here, they have to look for the ancient Egypt entry and then click to the element that they have chosen, as I do here. About the added value of the tool used in this activity, we could say that using the Merge Explorer app, students explore ancient Egypt through 3D models. It engages interactively the students within virtual environments. This also amplifies traditional learning by offering immersive hands-on experience. The activity adds value by enabling tactile interaction with historical artifacts, enriching students' cultural understanding. This is the rubric that I have created based on how I would grade this assignment. Utilizing the rubric for e-learning tool evaluation, we can say that Merge Explorer and Codespaces Edu require minimal personal information from users, supporting strong data privacy practices. Users maintain ownership of their content they create. These platforms adhere to COPPA and FAIRPA regulations to ensure secure usage and prevent unauthorized data sharing. It is recommended that access be limited to school-managed devices. And this is the ICT framework for this activity. In the third and final session, the students will be working with the stop motion using TikTok. The goal of the activity is to create a digital story about the transformation from the present to the future using short video segments. The steps that will be followed in the session would be: firstly, the teacher will talk about the future, asking the students how they think it would be like. Then, they will have to create the story. After they finish the last step, they will create the video filming really short clips. And finally, as the last step, they will present their video to their classmates and vote for the best one. This is the TikTok app, and this is how it has to be done.
Doy al gatillo. Tengo el cora bien frío, bien frío. Tengo un chulo que solo es mío. Otro.
About the added value of the tool used in this activity, we could say that using TikTok-style videos to share about the future stories transforms traditional presentations into dynamic digital narratives. The activity adds value by fostering creativity and future-oriented thinking while aligning with contemporary communication styles. This is the rubric that I have created based on how I would grade this assignment. Utilizing the rubric for e-learning tool evaluation, we could say that TikTok collects extensive user data and is intended for users under the age of 13, which presents significant privacy and safety concerns under COPPA. While users retain ownership of their content, TikTok is granted a broad license to use it. Due to these risks, any use of TikTok with students aged 8-9 would be managed strictly by the teacher using a teacher-controlled account. Videos should be created offline within the app but not published on the platform to protect student privacy. And finally, this is the ICT framework for this activity. Now we move on to the second part of the project. This part consists of some questions about elements of the course. I have chosen questions 3 and 4, and obviously question 5, which is mandatory. I'm going to start with question 3. Firstly, I'm going to explain what a personal learning environment is. A PLA refers to a system and collection of tools, communities, and services that individuals use to direct their own learning and pursue educational goals. It is not a single system, but a combination of selected elements and digital tools that cater to personal learning needs, enabling learners to control and manage their learning process, content, and relationships. Also, in this question, we are asked to explain and justify what 5 elements of the course we would like to include to our personal learning environment. The 5 elements I have chosen are Blogger, ChatGPT, Genially, Canva, and iCAD. Firstly, I have chosen Blogger for my personal learning environment because it helps me to track my learning journey, reflect on my progress, and communicate my ideas clearly with others. It enhances my ability to think critically about my learning process. I chose ChatGPT because it provides immediate support when I need help understanding concepts or brainstorming ideas. It encourages me to work independently while still offering me guidance when needed, which is essential for my growth as a learner. Also, Genially, because it allows me to present information in an engaging and interactive way. It helps me stay motivated and retain information better through multimedia tools that cater to various learning styles. Another tool would be Canva because it helps me create visually impactful materials that enhance my learning. The ability to design and organize content visually strengthens my understanding of complex topics and improves my communication skills. And finally, I would choose iCAD because it helps me structure and reflect on my learning activities and tools. As I plan for the future, this framework ensures that I design meaningful and effective learning experience, promoting long-term success and adaptability. To finish this question, we were asked to choose one element of the other 5 to reflect how our PLA could evolve in the medium or long term. So out of all the tools in my personal learning environment, iCAD is the one that I believe has the most potential to grow with me in the future. While apps like Blogger, Canva, or Genially are great for creating content and sharing ideas right now, iCAD is more about how I plan and design learning, which is very important in my future as a teacher. iCAD helps me think about 3 main parts of any learning experience: what the student will be doing, what tools and resources they'll use, and how they'll work together. This kind of thinking isn't just helpful for one lesson. It can guide everything from small classroom activities to whole units of courses. That's why I see it as something that can really evolve with me over time. So while other tools in my PLA help me do things, iCAD will help me design and improve. It pushes me to think more deeply about teaching and learning, and that's something I'll keep building on throughout my career. For the 4th question, we were asked to choose 3 areas of the Compedu that we consider more relevant. I have chosen the area 2, digital resources, the area 3, teaching and learning, and the 3rd area that I have chosen is the area 5, empowering learners. The first area that I have chosen is the area 2, which is about digital resources. This area focuses on how educators find, create, modify, and share digital resources effectively. It also includes evaluating the quality and relevance of those resources for learning purposes. This area is relevant because in today's classrooms, digital tools and content are essential. Knowing how to select or create engaging and pedagogically sound resources helps teachers meet diverse students' needs. As an example of this course activities that explain what have I learned on this course that should be useful for developing this part of the competence is the 3rd task. We use platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube to create and share educational content in creative ways. Doing this, I learned how to design and publish educational materials in a way that is engaging and easy to understand for students. Using social media for educational purposes showed me how to adapt content to different formats and audience, which is a key part of managing digital resources effectively. The second area I choose is the area 3, which is about teaching and learning. This area focuses on using digital technologies to enhance the teaching and learning process. It includes designing learning activities, organizing collaboration, and managing learning strategies effectively. It's important for teachers to not just use technology, but to use it in a way that supports active and meaningful learning. This includes things like collaborative projects, flipped learning, or guided inquiry. The thing I learned on this course that should be useful for developing this part of the competence is the use of social media platforms as part of our teaching strategy. The uses of the media taught me how digital tools can be used to change the role of students from consumers to creators of knowledge. It showed me how to plan activities that encourage interaction, creativity, and student voice, essential parts of digital teaching and learning. The last area that I have chosen is the Area 5, Empowering Learners. This area is about using technology to support learner autonomy, inclusion, and personalization. It's about helping students take charge of their learning and ensuring all students can participate equally. This area is relevant because every student learns differently. Digital tools can help teachers adapt their methods and give students more control and confidence in their own learning. The main focus on the third task was empowering learners. Through the use of TikTok, we explored how social media can promote inclusion, differentiation, and engagement. With this, I understand the value of using digital tools to reach all types of learners. I learned how technology can help adapt lessons to fit different needs and styles, and how giving students a voice in the process boosts motivation and inclusion. The QT project we learned about reinforced how important it is to involve students when designing digital learning experience. And finally, for the last question of the exam, we have to respond some questions about the course. So here we go. Looking back on the course, I feel like I deserve a 9 for the effort I put in and the things I learned along the way. The most challenging role I took on was definitely being the analyst. It wasn't just about reflection on our work as a team, but also about making sure we could all see how much we grew and what we learned throughout the course. It was a lot of responsibility to guide the final reflection and give honest feedback on everyone's performance. AI tools were helpful in organizing and diving deeper into the reflection, but my human touch was crucial in interpreting the group experience and making the reflection feel real and meaningful. When I worked on this exam, I used AI to help me brainstorm, structure my thoughts, and refine my writing. But at the end of the day, it was still me putting everything into my own words and sharing my personal experiences. AI definitely made things easier, but my creativity and personal perspective are what really made the work stand out. And that is the whole project.